The debate over birthright citizenship is back in the national spotlight, and people across the country are asking one big question. What does this ruling actually mean? Today, we are looking at how some Black Americans are reacting to the latest developments surrounding birthright citizenship, and why the issue has sparked so much discussion, and what questions many people are raising about the future of migration policy in the United States. So let's get into it.
Ethnic Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, Sulan, are at the center of the Supreme Court justice decision today. And what's pissing me off is every time I turn on a news station, everybody's trying to diminish our role in this entire thing. Because one thing is because a lot of people are immigrants, and a lot of immigrants are so jealous of the fact that we are Americans. And even just like Sotomayor. So I was watching the attorney talk to Sotomayor and say, listen, we are basing this on the precedence of the fact that this law of birthright citizenship was based on the descendants, the children of slaves. And immediately she cut it off, switched it, and was like, well, also the gypsies. Who's talking about gypsies? Why are we talking about gypsies in America? Why did you deflect to gypsies? Why didn't you address the fact that, or have a counter to his point about ethnic Black Americans? And I've noticed that immigrants are so very, 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 not all, but most are very jealous of our position in this country because they hate the fact that people of our color and our complexion can have this kind of cemented place in a country that they want to be a part of so bad, and they're just not on some levels. And so what we have white Americans who are just given, carte blanche, because white Americans, this place was ruled and colonized for them specifically, right? And then you have us who were begrudgingly given citizenship because they know that they made us build this whole entire thing. We've been here for 4 or 5 centuries. We fought in every war. We're so entrenched in this country that they had to begrudgingly, and we fought for, give us this citizenship. So on one side, you have white Americans who are just kind of given carte blanche citizenship. It's just theirs, okay? And then you have us who have, with blood, sweat, and tears and labor, are embedded in this country with citizenship. And it's in our Constitution. The Constitution was changed to incorporate us into the fabric of America because we are America, our ethnogenesis in America. And they're so salty. So many immigrants are so salty about it. And even, so you hear all the news networks when they're covering this situation, they're all trying to not talk about the core argument, which is the fact that it's about ethnic Black Americans, children of slaves, giving citizenship not to immigrants. It was never designed for immigrants. And this goes back to the statement where we have told immigrants time and time again, if it weren't for us, you wouldn't be here. And they want to have all these tropes and narratives and try to twist American history and say, oh, we would have been here, or these non-melanated people gave us citizenship, they gave us immigration. No, they didn't. They did not. They didn't. It was based on your immigration status. If you are a non-white male in America, the precedents came from us, ethnic Black Americans, hands down. That is why you are here, because they used everything that we fought for, and you tethered yourself and piggybacked and jumped on our backs to get it. And we fought for you, and we try to help you until we realize how anti-Black a lot of you guys are. And so now we're quiet. If this was 10 years ago, we would be up in arms trying to help you, trying to fight for you, and now we're quiet. Now, I don't know what they're going to rule. It seems like, it's going to be a hard road to get this passed in the Supreme Court, but Trump has pulled rabbits out of his hat before. And this is what I want us to understand. Ethnic Black Americans, you have to have pride in your culture and community, because you have to understand that everything we have and everything that these people have in this country is off of us. This includes the non-melanated, because we built this country, okay? It includes every other group that comes to this country because we set the precedents for them to come to this country. And you need to stand up and start gatekeeping. It's funny to see the gingers and everybody saying, oh, we're Black now because we're gingers. It's cute, but it's not. But we need to gatekeep. Okay? We need to stop letting everybody come in, because look at the silence of supposedly your allies, these people of color and all this stuff, where they don't want to give you, your ancestors, any credit for them being in this country. They don't even want to talk about it. They don't even want to give us the credit when it is the center, it is the foundation of the entire argument. And they don't even want to mention it or talk about it. Sotomayor started talking about gypsies. So listen up.
The Constitution.
Respectfully, I think what we have are lower courts making snap judgments on the merits that ignore the fundamental principle of the 14th Amendment, that it was about giving citizenship to the children of slaves, not to the children of illegal immigrants who really were not even a very discreet class at that time. And that's the sort of argument that deserves percolation.
There were some people in Congress who argued against the 13th Amendment just because of that. Some people who argued against passing the amendment just because of that, because it would give citizenship to gypsies.
I think the relevant history of the 14th Amendment is the statements of Senator Trumbull, who emphasized that domicile was the key criterion. He said that in a letter to Andrew Jackson, and we've cited in our Ninth Circuit briefing.
Birthright citizenship is now constitutionally bound. So Kagan, Sotomayor, Jackson, Roberts, and Barrett, all five voted in favor of keeping birthright citizenship based on what it says in the Constitution. So those five, they said, first off, that is rooted in English common law. Come on now, founding fathers. Just solely. And just solely means of the land, born on the soil. We're keeping it. It's old and it's traditional. Fuck off. They also said, let's look at the 14th Amendment and Dred Scott. This was created as a direct rejection of a racial caste system in the United States of America. Okay, now that we're over with the good news, let's talk about Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas says that the 14th Amendment was a temporary remedy to solve the problem that Dred Scott and slavery created, which was that formerly enslaved people had no former homeland. And he is stating on the basis that birthright citizenship, it was only a temporary fix for that, and it was only for formerly enslaved people, and that domicile should be the main basis of citizenship. And domicile meaning your parents were born here, and your parents' parents was born here, and your parents' parents' parents was born here. And although Clarence Thomas looks at the 14th Amendment as a narrow repair or a temporary quick fix, Ketanji Jackson, she went against what he said. She addressed him, actually. She said what he said was insulting to what the Reconstruction era actually was. And she also said that it was to create an anti-caste, anti-subordinate system, and it was a reset for citizenship. That's what the 14th Amendment was. It was that Black people, Black Americans fought hard so that this country could not further insubordinate or decide who was a citizen based on their hereditary background. She even backs up her opinion by saying, well, when they voted on it and they created this, they even brought up the Roma people and Chinese immigrants, and they still decided to keep it the way it was. So domicileship makes no sense. Thomas is arguing that Black freedom was a specific remedy for a specific historical group, and Jackson is arguing no, Black freedom produced a constitutional rule against inherited exclusion itself. And now, what does a constitutional holding or a constitutional rule mean? Why is it important that Amy Coney Barrett was on the side of birthright citizenship? Because a president nor Congress can never change that now. Because 5 justices have affirmed the amendment and the wording in the Constitution, it can never be changed. No one can challenge it. No one can come back and appeal it. It's done. It's final decision. So now citizenship can't be used as an immigration policy, which is very, very good. Do you guys want to talk about Alito? Alito was talking about you need to pledge allegiance to the fucking flag. And you know what's dangerous about Alito's thought is that, like, it requires more than just being born here, meaning like slavery. They might be like, you have to work here for 5 years for free as an indentured servant, and then you can have your citizenship. That's what makes that thought process and that ideology dangerous, right? Let's move on to Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh disagreed with Trump, saying that he could not do this via executive order because of Congress's citizenship rule. Not because he doesn't agree with it or he wants birthright citizenship, but just because technically Trump did it wrong. And Gorsuch don't know what he want. He was like, well, maybe permanent, temporary. Like, if you're visiting, you a tourist, you have a baby here, that baby don't belong here. And then he was like, but I'm not really too clear on it. I like Native Americans. Y'all got anything else y'all want me to say?
Birthright citizenship is here to stay. The Supreme Court just ruled today that Donald Trump's executive orders and all the bans were unconstitutional. And I don't think you guys realized how crazy the alternative is, because to have to prove that both parents are American or one parent is American would mean that if the immigrant woman gives birth and you don't know who the dad is, off rip, that's a problem. You see how that can be an issue. Single parents, people whose dad's not involved, people whose dads abandoned the family, all of that creates such an issue. And if you look at and think about it for more than 30 seconds, you start to see all of the hosts of problems that are associated with a bill trying to ban birthright citizenship. Also, it's just fundamentally un-American. I'm not sure which justices voted for which thing, but to be honest, it is a really good thing that birthright citizenship is here to stay, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, that's quintessentially American. That is part of our laws, regulations, and our country and our identity. So it is a great day to celebrate.
Black Americans need to be heavily invested in this birthright citizenship conversation because we only have citizenship as a result of the 14th Amendment. And I know that there are segments of Black Americans that believe that we grew here like cornstalk. But if you're paying attention to the Supreme Court conversations that have been had today, they do not give a damn about indigeneity and have gone so far as to question Native folks. And if tribal indigenous folks can claim U.S. citizenship on their own land. I did a video last year, particularly talking about the Dred Scott decision of 1857. And if you're watching this on TikTok, you can look at my caption for that video. And I was talking about how the Dred Scott decision, which was a Supreme Court decision, tells you what you need to know about how they feel about us being here. Chief Justice Robert B. Taney said that Black people had no rights that a white man was bound to respect. That the Declaration of Independence naming that all men were created equal was not for us. And that ultimately servitude was our place as Black people in the United States of America. Then you can absolutely recognize that no matter how many times they talk about illegals gaining citizenship, they don't want Black people to have it either. I find it odd that in this time, Black people will be trusting anything white men have to say. When the reason we have a whole ass Juneteenth is because people in Galveston, Texas weren't even told that they were emancipated. And also, it's not a matter of them stripping away our citizenship in order to ship us wherever around the world. It is their goal to have us in a continuum of servitude.
For weeks, immigration has remained one of the biggest political issues in America. Recent legal developments involving birthright citizenship have brought even more attention to the debate. While legal experts continue discussing the long-term impact, people across social media have been sharing very different opinions. Some believe the ruling could reshape immigration policy. Others argue it is being misunderstood. And many simply want to know how these changes could affect everyday Americans. Among Black Americans, there isn't one single opinion. Some say immigration reform should focus on enforcing existing laws while protecting constitutional rights. Others believe the discussion has become too political and that leaders should instead focus on issues like affordable housing, better schools, better opportunities, public safety, and economic growth. Many online comments suggest people asking whether the government can effectively address multiple priorities at the same time. One reason this story is attracting so much attention is that birthright citizenship touches on several major topics at once: migration, the Constitution, the courts, and the future direction of the US policy. That combination naturally creates strong opinions from people across the political spectrum. Supporters of the ruling argue it reinforces the rule of law. Critics worry about the broader consequences and what future legal changes could mean. As with many national issues, reasonable people disagree. Across YouTube, X, TikTok, and Facebook, several questions keep appearing. What exactly did the court decide? Will this change who automatically receive US citizenship? Could Congress become involved? Will more legal challenges follow? These are the kind of questions many Americans are trying to understand as the legal process continues. No matter where someone stands politically, one thing seems clear. The conversation about immigration isn't ending anytime soon. Future court cases, new legislation, and upcoming elections will likely keep this issue in the headlines. Many Americans are paying close attention because they believe these decisions could influence immigration policy for years to come. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the recent birthright citizenship ruling? Do you believe it will have a major impact on the country? Or do you think its effects are being overstated? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and please keep it respectful. Now, if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more commentary on current events and public policy, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.